In this case, it introduces the length of time, which loosely translates to once you start to gain some fluency, those come naturally. So on your next shift, you can work faster and more efficient. Okay, so let's answer how much and how many in Spanish. Probably one of the most used questions in a clinical setting. Now, no matter your role in a hospital or a clinical setting, you're going to come across this question structure. What I aim to do with this lesson is I am going to teach you how to fish and hook for your answer. Now let's hit the ground running. We use cuánto and cuánta for quantized and unquantized singular nouns, like syringe, needle, blood, or urine, jeringa, aguja, sangre y orina, and cuantos and cuantas for plural nouns, like pills, doctors, and kids, pastillas, doctores, y niños. Now just remember that cuanto and cuantos are used for male nouns and cuanta and cuantas are used for female nouns. Once you start to gain some fluency, those come naturally, so don't even worry about it for now. Some you memorize and some others you use over and over and over again that they stick. So don't overthink this too much. This is where people fall off the Spanish learning wagon because they get overwhelmed. Now, thankfully, I will give you exactly what you need, which will allow you to practice exactly what you need. Now, let me give you some examples. Let's take a look at cuánto tiempo. How much time?
¿Cuántos años lleva ya ejerciendo, señor?
8.
8 años.
Now, let's take some time for this one. Now, this is used to ask for total duration. It means how long. It is used to ask how long something lasts or something has lasted. And you can also build on top of it. Let's say a patient is saying, I have a cough, tengo tos. And you can interject with cuánto tiempo, perfectly fine. Or a patient may ask you, ¿cuánto tiempo dura la cirugía? Very common question. You may also hear natives say, por cuánto tiempo, which is used to ask for a specific action, past or future. And just to give you some background, por is a preposition. In this case, it introduces the length of time. In Spanish, we use por to tell reason, cause, means, or time. It's always por blank. Let me give you some examples using cuánto, cuánta, cuántos, and cuántas. We can say cuánto medicamento, cuánto líquido, cuánta sangre, cuánta orina, cuánta tos, cuántos días, cuántos minutos, cuántos litros, cuántas horas, cuántas veces, cuántas pastillas tomó. Now, these are very important questions to be familiar with. Now, you may make mistakes at the beginning because they all sound very familiar. But to make sure you don't, I'll leave study material in the description below. So on your next shift, you can work faster and more efficient. Now, let's look at some answer options because what good is to know the questions if you can't understand the answer being said to you. Now, many times, or should I say most of the time, the patient will not know the exact value or amount, and they will use a quantifier to give you an approximate answer. Now, here are some quantifiers that you will definitely need in the hospital. Algunos or algunas, bastante, demasiado or demasiada. And of course, we have the ones that everybody know. Mucho and mucha, or poco and poca. Let me give you some examples for some of these. So if the question is, what did your PCP do? They may say, me hicieron algunos estudios. How much bleeding did you have? Bastante. How much did he vomit? Vomitó demasiado. How bad does it hurt? Me duele mucho. How much pain do you have? Tengo poco dolor. Now, another one that's very common and not a lot of you know is the word menos. And this is always used in a follow-up question. So if you're asking your patient, have you seen a therapist? And they say no. And you ask, how about a psychiatrist? They may say menos, which loosely translates to much less so. Like if I haven't seen a therapist, much less a psychiatrist.
Menos viviendo en esta vecindad y rodeada de semejantes.
Now, I don't want to overwhelm you, so let's leave it at that. But if you're ready for all 17 quantifiers, especially this last one that I just gave you, menos, click the link in the description below where you can get ebook and Anki flashcards so that you can repeat them over and over until they stick. Now, Anki is a free open source digital flashcard program that uses a technique called spaced repetition to optimize learning and memory retention. And I guarantee you, these quantifiers alone will put you a step ahead your Spanish fluent colleagues.
No secrets, don't exist secrets. The secret is dedication and hard work, you know, to be able to work 100% all the time.
Now, are you going to use all these quantifiers? Yes, every day. Not every day, but you will come across many of them on a daily basis. You'll be surprised how common they are. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you next time for lesson number 4.